go to a Sunday picnic, you always say those words like, we should hang out sometime, or I'll get back with you later, or perhaps I'll follow up with you on that, or yes, I'd love to be on that subcommittee with you. Totally, right? But we're all liars because we procrastinate. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I wrote this speech approximately 22 seconds ago because at Starbucks, the speech I was going to write, I kind of didn't like because it was on like Roth 401ks, and I realized like half this room is on CalPERS. So it would be really good to have that jazz out. And then I kind of started thinking, okay, like, well, what's my biggest issue that I face? Besides the fact that I have ADD and there's hamsters running around my brain right now, but it's that I am a master procrastinator. If there was an Olympic gold medal, multi-championship dynasty for procrastination, I win. It took me 22 years just to see the doctor to talk about ADHD. That's a long time to put things off. I remember I even put off changing my kid's diaper because NFL Red Zone was on, and it was really critically important that I made sure that my fantasy football players got that great score. Thank you, Antonio Brown. Great weekend. You know, it's interesting about procrastination when we talk about it because it's like the subculture, like no one wants to say like, yeah, I'll follow up with you later. But in our heart of hearts, we know that that's never going to happen. Same thing with things like, oh, I'd love to bake a pie for that fundraising event for whatever. Or like, yes, those children in that country, I can't remember where it actually is on the map, love to help you with that charity event. Now, why does this happen? What's going on? Well, a few statistics here to let you know about. First is that there are more people with PhDs that don't have their dissertation completed than there are PhDs completed. 90% of books that are bought at bookstores, covers are never actually opened and read. I'm sure if you all went home and looked at your bookshelf, you're like, man, all those presidential autobiographies, I am never going to read that. I'm never going to read the book Decision Points by George W. Bush. Like, my grandma gave it to me, or like I thought I'd bought this because my boss said, like, we really need to be strategic and have strategery. But let's be real, that's never. The other interesting fact is that actually people are dying because of procrastination. So people who actually fail to get their colonoscopy done have a significantly higher incidence of colon cancer and mortality rates. So procrastination is actually like killing people. It's a culture-wide issue, guys. I don't know if you're aware, but like Congress, which everyone is like thumbs up on both parties about, has actually failed to pass a budget since about 2007, which at that point in time, kids today, if they continue this trend, will actually be voting on their congressional members without actually having a budget in their lifetime. The other funny thing is about gyms. You guys know this, the beginning of the year, everyone's like, yes! Weight loss, January. It's so cold outside I can't think. Of course, here in California, we go, man, it's 51 degrees. I do not know if I will be able to actually go outside. But, so you walk into the gym, you're talking with the gym membership guy, and he's saying, yes, for $23.95 plus a initial enrollment fee, which and then all of a sudden it's like $100 you just paid for the gym that you visited twice. I don't know if you guys, I'm a regular gym goer, but January is the worst time of the year to go to the gym because there's all these people in there that you know are going to die off like an endangered species and never return. But you just need them to like have that moment where they say, yes, I'm gonna lose weight this year, or yes, I'm gonna have that new exercise plan. You just have to wait till February for that to like show up, and they all leave. Like right now, perfect time to go to the gym. There's nobody there. It's awesome, it's fantastic, especially at 4:30 in the morning. The other funny thing about procrastination is how it impacts how we actually approach jobs. So the majority of job applications are actually never fulfilled. So a lot of people do that whole thing where they start and they're like, ooh, I can't just upload my resume. You mean I actually have to put in words into a statement about like what my job role is that I can't really explain because it's really complicated, but I have this title that says like I'm a executive consultant, which really means I just answer phones and fax things, but it sounds really awesome on my resume. So, diving in, fellow Toastmasters guests, I want to explain two amazing and great researchers on procrastination. One is Dr. Peter Steele, who wrote a book called The Procrastination Equation, where he talks about his greatest flaw, which is procrastination, and how it impacted him. And secondly, I want to talk about a man who's actually a runner-up, twice runner-up, for International Toastmaster World Champion speaker, Rory Vaden. He wrote a book called Procrastination on Purpose. And I want to leave you guys with two pretty important things. So Pierre Steele wrote this book called Procrastination Equation in 2011, where he describes the problem of procrastination. He describes the mortality, all the statistics I've just given you here, and he brings in this interesting conclusion to his book, which is that he actually sucks at procrastination. Like he's in the world championship league with me. And he talks about how you can overcome procrastination. And the first big objective here is to create small, simple steps. Because a lot of us, we have this like really big vision, right? Where we're like, I am going to have an 8-pack with a V shape by June, and you're 60 pounds overweight. Well, that probably isn't going to happen, but we are amazing dreamers that we can envision and see what the future will be, but we have a real hard time with that like first step, right? Same thing with job applications or asking someone out on a date, right? We're like, well, what happens if the hot air balloon ride technician for the first date I want to have with this person isn't going to work well? It's like, maybe you could just ask that person if they'd like to have a cup of coffee with you first before you come up with this like, what will my hot air balloon ride? And then what happens if perhaps like the hot air balloon isn't there, or it's raining and there's droughts, like all these weird things that can happen. That's not the point. The point is to make that very first step to where you need to go. The next person here is Rory Vaden, who has probably one of the best quotes I like, which is that success is never owned, it is only rented, and the rent is due every day. So he wrote this great book called Procrastinate on Purpose, and what he describes is that there are things that are important that we need to do, and there are things that are significant we need to do. And if you pull in the things that are significant, like spending time with your children, focusing on that project that's really important to you, or being present at work, rather than just, let's think, researching the best fantasy person to pick up on the waivers this week while you're at work being paid, is a great way to procrastinate on that big project you're supposed to do. And so for him, his big focus here is to focus on the single most important and most significant thing for your life goal. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, please don't delay. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Sometimes you might be in a drought, though apparently El Nino is coming. So don't delay, don't procrastinate. Thank you very much.